By the way, maybe it's time to reiterate an important note. Maybe some of you now, some of my subscribers, either new subscribers or newly converted, believers. I'm cynical about it because, why do I need the converted believers if they do not move arms and legs to get me out of the Nazi prison? That's what I ask of you. I don't even care if you believe or do not believe. I care about, if there is anybody that is actually willing to move his limbs and not just the mouth and the tongue. Yes, belief is important. I wouldn't say I'm not going to say it's not, but usually it's important because the assumption that it predicates or prepares, it's the prelude to actions. But anyway, maybe such people now, they ask themselves, can we do whatever he's doing? Let's do. We don't need this guy. Thank you very much. Rot in hell, and thank for the Israeli approach. The Israeli form, the preview. In the previous chapters. Now we are in the current chapter. The Israeli approach is, they show as much interest in what I'm doing as you would, the same amount of interest that the T-Rex shows, with regard to the scientists in Jurassic Park. That's the level of interest that they show. But in the past, yes, that was actually, in the previous chapter of the saga, yes, this was generally the notion. Okay, so you know how to do magic, great. So give us the magic and die and crucify for us. So maybe that you also, some of you think along these lines. So, first of all, it's a bad idea to just take and not give anything in return. This was the major sin of the Titan females of this world. That, the expertise in taking and the failure to give. Not just the Titans, but also the Israelis and the Jews in general. But הוא הלך לזרזיר אצל העורב, כבר אמרתי את זה מזמן, לפני הרבה שנים. יש סיבות ללמה הם פה. אלה שפה, זה למה הם פה. הם לא פה, הם שם, אבל מי שפה, יש סיבות למה הוא פה. כן. הלך לזרזיר אצל העורב. אבל, so, regarding the actual question, can you do whatever I do? So first of all, of course, that this was my intention since the beginning, is that some people would actually try to replicate these things. That's why it was so important to me to document. It's not the only reason, but it was the main reason, to document every step, so people can actually do the same. It's not the only reason. Part of the documentation is for myself. I also need, I myself need documentation. I don't remember everything, after so many, experiments, but also for other people. From practical perspective, as I've said very shortly, I said things effects of the symbolic language that you expect to affect your own body and predicated on the tea that you have in your own body should most probably work for everybody. Like everybody that eaten the tea. Certainly Titans that always have some kind of amount of tea in their body. So yes. Including, as I said, things like the ash to ash trail. Certainly. Now, with regards to working in containers, this is more of a problem because you need tea. So what you can do is you can sacrifice your own tea, שים שם פיפי וקקי שלכם, בגדול. So, and you cannot multiply it like I do, and you cannot grow it like I do. So it's going to be difficult for you to do the things that I do, because yours are, first of all, the initial, things that can be found, in your own body. The initial, what you take from your own body is tremendously smaller, like in many orders of magnitude, smaller than the average in my own body, and also less numerous. But on top of that, I multiply and grow it, and you can't do it. You can try, but it's not going to happen. The only thing that you can do, perhaps, in a container is if you, for the sake of science, if you get a tea for males, I don't know if it's possible to get it, or for me, and I hope it's not possible. I do whatever I can. It's not going. So it will not be possible in the last 3 years. But if theoretically, just for the sake of science, you get it from male, and so maybe you can mix the male tea and your own tea in a container and see what happens under the microscope. This might be interesting for science perspective. My assumption is that, I mean, they will multiply and grow, because that's what's happening in your own body. I mean, the Titan body. Nevertheless, I would say, theoretically, yes, you can do what I do in containers. Just you need to use your own tea, which means tea from your own body, which means basically pee or blood or whatever. And first of all, I mean, there is a limited amount of it. Second, it's going to be difficult to energize it. I mean, you can get inspiration from this channel, like to find your own ways of how to energize it, because you will need to energize it. Probably tremendously more than what I do, because you have so less. I mean, so much less. Then again, maybe if you are like, I don't know, Men in Black organization, or just the CIA or whatever. Or maybe, the intelligence service of Norway, maybe they're strong enough. I mean, presumably you're not, I don't know who you are. I don't know who listens to me. It can be like people that have nothing, basically individuals like myself that are affiliated with some way or the other intelligence organization. Or maybe, the whole state is behind you. So maybe, you can, for the state, I don't know, like maybe for the sake of the state, you have at least temporarily, you have a power plant at your disposal. So maybe you have like immense energy, source that I don't have. And this would certainly, without a doubt, help tremendously in whatever you want to do, like what I do with the Neros. Of course, you need to use the correct symbology, but energy is tremendously helpful. But you need to find a way, like how to, let's say that you have like a power plant, like 100 megawatt power plant, like medium to small power plant, and they say, okay, you can use it like for several hours. So how do you energize like a glass of tea from your body? There are many technical issues, like compatibility issues between because you do electrolysis like with like a 1,000,000 volt electrolysis on a glass of tea, it will evaporate in a second. Like many technical questions. Probably you are not going to be able to create cultures, like bacterial cultures. Probably, I would be surprised. Maybe if you have immense energy at your disposal and you have the technicalities of how to connect it to whatever, to the mixer, which is basically a pure stool. Maybe, probably you can create cultures like I do. The missing ingredients are the tea that you don't have, not enough. That's the main difference between you and me. So probably you can create cultures like what I do. I would say, what I like about, the creating the cultures of the trained bacteria, yes, it's got like a symbolic, because of the bicycle mechanism, it's got like a symbolic effect that is very, maybe negative according to some people, because it creates the trained bacteria in all sorts of bodies. But this actually, the first time I think in this channel, even though such things are discussed at length, but it's the first time that we actually demonstrate what I would call industrial process. Even though these issues, we discuss industrial processes tremendously a lot in this channel since the beginning, since January 2023. It's like in 1 year and like 20 months now. It was always on the table, the industrial, implications or ramifications. But this is the first time that I can say, okay, this is actually, yes, it's close to other things that we do, that are, related to the realm of life. But still, it can be regarded as an industrial process within the life sciences, because it's got a clear. First of all, it's not done yet because we still did not formulate how to avoid creation ex nihilo, which is the important part. But we can do it. It's not the highest objective, but we can do it in order for the process to be finalized. So we can create, of course, Industrial process which is identical in goals to the industrial process of stool samples that אתה מביא לקופת חולים והם בודקים אם יש לך סטרפטוקוקוס אחרי יומיים שלושה אומרים לך. I mean, it's an industrial process because it's done, you don't even need, some can do it even without intervention like humans. It's like, just, the laboratory workers that take, the things, but they put it like in an oven and, not an oven, like, what's the name of, like, ovens for fetus, like, what's the name of this thing? שכחתי, איך קוראים לדבר הזה שמים בו את התינוקות שנולדו מוקדם מדי? So they have such a thing, but for the bacteria. So anyway, it's kind of like a process. So that's what I like about it. But it depends on having a lot of the tea, and you don't have a lot of the tea. And this was actually my assumption all along, that probably for any serious industrial process, you would need tremendous amount of the tea, and you don't have it because you only have it from your body, and you can multiply it. And what you have in your body, you use it. I mean, it's already becoming, super expensive because of, you are in the middle of an apocalypse, tea apocalypse, and it's not going to be better. But still, I mean, I like the fact that, it's kind of like, an advancement towards something that can be considered as an industrial process.